Turn around. She wants the visiting vet to look at an emergency case.
What the situation is, we've got an off-site carer, and she's got some. They've got some deer for that they're looking after for us, and they had one in yesterday that's quite badly injured.
Okay.
And I'd really like you to have a look at it and see what you think.
Right away, they basically turn us around and ask us to go look at a fawn and an off-site rescue.
Wherever they need us to go, we're gonna go. So there was a deer that needed to be looked at a different place, so we went and we did it right away.
One thing Barry and Haley are learning is that wildlife rehabilitation isn't regulated in England. Anyone is allowed to do it. And it often takes place in people's homes and gardens.
So it just looks like it's somebody's house.
Yeah, I know.
It's a genuine house call.
We'll go down this way, I guess. Hi!
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, I'm Barry.
Hi, I'm Haley. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Sylvia.
Chris.
Hi, Chris. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
This couple has been rehabbing deer for a decade. They've just joined forces with Folly Wildlife Rescue.
I hear that there's some deer here. In Nova Scotia, you need permits to rehabilitate wildlife. In England, there's no permit needed, and so anybody can decide that they want to rehabilitate wildlife, and they can start it in their living room or their kitchen or their backyard. And so these wildlife rescues, although they have a center location, a lot of their animals are actually being fostered or rehabbed off-site in someone's home.
The fawn just arrived overnight. Barry's seen hundreds of white-tailed deer. This is a different species of deer, but the physiology is mostly the same.
I'm just starting by checking her nerve status, see if she has any pain response in the feet or withdrawal of the feet, and just to see are the nerves damaged back there. I'll just wait until she's calmed down a little bit.
The mask is meant to calm the deer.
So that was the first thing I checked. I just want to look at her bum and see if she has any anal tone.
Well, she poos.
She poos, but does she actually hold it in, or does she have muscle response there?
There's a very slight response on the tail.
And she doesn't clench her bum like when I touch around it. So you can feel the spine coming along, but then it does kind of deviate this way a little bit. Like it's not quite continuous, and also you can push down on it and you feel the spine move. So I really do think that the swelling's under the vertebrae, the actual bones, and it's lifting it up. So
Yes.
there's a fraction there.
Barry has a bad feeling. He believes the fawn's spine is broken.
I'd really want an x-ray before making the final call, but my thought is, I agree with you. She's been up and walking at some point. She grew to this age, right? So I'd have to say it's trauma, and I would wonder if it's a broken back, and that's the resulting hematoma and swelling.
Barry wants to pass on everything he can to Haley, the aspiring vet.
You will see that with bunnies. I've actually seen this exact same thing in a bunny who
The
broke its
swelling?
back, got so much swelling under there that it came into this big lump under it. It's almost exactly like the bunnies.
This is a tough lesson.
You kind of weigh the odds, and yes, you'd love to save it, but you don't want to put it through pain, knowing that,
It's probably gonna have to.
99.9% chance probably.
Yeah.
And so I think I'd be looking at
You'd suggest euthanasia?
especially whereas we feel that vertebrae out of place.
Watching Dr. Barry at this people's house with the fawns was really huge learning experience for me. He has really good bedside manner, and he's just really good with clients. I really hope that I'm like him when I'm a vet, honestly.
she's kind of getting to do things on the fly, you know. kind of roll with the punches, so to speak, and actually, you know, go into someone's home and see that, yeah, you can use your knowledge to examine a deer in someone's living room, although you may not have an x-ray machine and you may not have all the supplies you would if you were in an office. You can still use your knowledge and make a difference.
Just as Barry and Haley are about to leave, they catch a glimpse of a garden resident. Sylvia and Chris call this fox Trevor. They know him, they love him, they even feed him.
So you guys, you do feed them? Yeah.
He looks,
And he's-
just looks like a pet.
We got to meet a fox named Trevor, and Trevor's kind of their fox. He hangs around their property. He's one that they rehabbed and released there. I started kind of coming to grips with the whole idea of what I'm terming urban wildlife. I mean, this is wildlife. It's a fox. It's not a pet. I mean, we couldn't actually get up to it and pat it. So it's still a wild animal, but it's been habituated to live around people. And that seems to be a common trend in England. I think in the end, what I've realized is, although I really don't think it would work here, it's what works in England. We still have wild places. I just think in England, there's probably less wild places. And so wildlife has had to adapt and learn to live and coexist with people.
Dr. Barry and Haley's UK adventure isn't over yet. They're about to finally get a good look at Folly Wildlife Rescue. Now, Haley's never seen a hedgehog before, and Dr. Barry's been giving her some strange ideas about them.
I told Haley a few little lies about hedgehogs. She wasn't quite sure what a hedgehog looked like, which kind of surprised me.
I, in my head, was thinking of the hedgehog that Dr. Barry had been putting in my head the whole time.
I told her they had tusks because they were hogs, and so hogs have those big tusks on them.
Terrifying beast of like a pig,
They were really dangerous,
big fangs, and was gonna attack me.
and she was actually believing me, so it was kind of exciting waiting for her to see her first hedgehog.
When Haley sees a real hedgehog, she's instantly charmed.
Oh, they are really cute. That's kind of what I was thinking. They're really, adorable.
Yeah.
Are they like porcupines? Like,
They're
was
very
it?
pretty.
Of course, I'm like clearly the most gullible person ever because she took out this tiny little baby, adorable hedgehog.
I told her that they were called hedgehogs because
Yeah.
they have like tusks like a wild boar.
Yeah.
That's where the word hog comes
Yeah.
from. And that they're really big and nasty. But
Does it show how gullible I am that I believed him
I
too?
just had to kind of have her prepared for them, right?
Now that Haley knows what a hedgehog really is, Annette's going to show her how to work with one. These orphan hedgehogs just arrived and need an intake examination.
So can I just pick them up?
Yeah.
So to be careful with it. They're so much smaller than I was expecting.
Really?
Yeah.
The little hedgehog has maggots in his ear, a condition called fly strike.
So is that,
That's
it looks a little pink.
yeah. So that is a sign because when the maggots hatch out, they rasp the skin.
Oh, I see some.
So this is a germicidal wound spray with insecticide in it. So you just open up the thing and point it directly. So that directs
Oh, you didn't
at
do
my
that.
finger. There we are, right in the ear. And then we'll flush that out later, but that will stop them in their tracks. Good.
Haley's had lots of experience with small mammals like raccoons and squirrels, so it doesn't take long for her to adapt to a new species.
And then you put the syringe in the side of the mouth here.
They kind of are like the same size as snowshoe hares at home, and we kind of in the same, and I guess squirrels too. And we feed the squirrels with syringes like this, so and make sure they're lapping. And, but of course the squirrels aren't prickly. So should I do another?
Yeah, definitely. While he's keen. Because one that isn't very much in the scheme of things.
No.
His eyes are really dry.
They are, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, he's drinking quite a while.
Yeah, that's good.
So why did this guy and the two others end up here?
More often than not, something's obviously happened to Mum. So they haven't gone. She hasn't gone back to them to feed them, and they're at an age now where they're mobile and they can go looking for her. So it's nice when people have managed to find them, because if they're very small, obviously they perish in the nest.
Right.
So it's the same. That goes the same with fox cubs and badger cubs. Yeah, so we can pop him back in there if you want to. Okay, so now I'd like to show you an adult hedgehog. Okay. This one's being found out in the daytime, which indicates there's something wrong.
Right.
He has actually got mange, so he's being treated for that.
Yeah, they're a lot bigger.
There. And,
Okay,
and
the
you can
mange,
see how prickly the spines are.
So that's what they don't bite or anything? They'll just
They
go on
can
the paw?
do, they can. You do have to be careful because they can bite you, and they've got teeth, we call them pickle stabbers, because they're like, there's a gap in the middle and they can actually bite you, so we always treat them with care.
So are they common in England or in the wild?
They used to be common, but there's so many things stacked up against hedgehogs now, their numbers are in decline, quite notably.
This is a hedgehog's only defense mechanism, curling up into a prickly ball.
So will they only curl up when you try to pick them up?
Yeah, straight into defensive mode.
Can I try?
Yeah.
Or will they bite me? Oh yeah. Oh jeez. Oh, he is prickly.
Yeah, so maybe you'd like to put him back to bed, would you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Just in here?
Just pop him in the box.
Now that she knows they aren't scary monsters, Haley is smitten with the little critters.
I love hedgehogs now. I think they're adorable. It kind of reminds me of the baby porcupines that we have in Nova Scotia, but it's almost easier because the hedgehogs, their quills aren't going to stick into you and pull out. Like, this still kind of hurts, but when they're really little babies, they don't really hurt, and they kind of just curl up into a ball in your hand, and then when you're doing the exam, they just like uncurl, and they were really, really cute. It was really like good learning.
Now she's got a surprise in store for Dr. Barry. Haley volunteered at Hope for Wildlife for 6 years, so she's fed thousands of songbirds. But it's not something Dr. Barry has as much experience with. Wherever you go, this is the nitty-gritty of wildlife rehab. The feedings, the cleaning, it's endless. But wildlife rehabbers the world over dedicate tireless hours to saving lives. Kaylee is on the tail end of a 12-hour shift. She's still smiling.
After my little prank on Haley and the hedgehog, she kind of took it upon herself that she thought there was a little bit of payback needed.
So Dr. Barry obviously lied to me about the hedgehog. So I wanted to get him back in a way, and he swoops in a Hope for Wildlife, does all the vet work, and doesn't have to do any of the feeding of the baby animals. So I wanted him to get some hands-on experience feeding the baby birds.
It's not that I don't know how to do it. I mean, I've done it before. I've done it as a kid. I used to, have birds and raise them. And then I've certainly fed birds since then. But it's not something I'm completely comfortable with doing, especially with people around that are familiar with doing it, people that I don't know. There you go. You grab what's left on that piece.
That guy on the bottom,
Oh yeah, that one get any?
No, he hasn't eaten yet.
So they get fed about every half an hour,
Okay.
and usually about this time of year we have one person dedicated to bird feeding. Usually once they've gone around and done all the feeds, it's about time to start again.